1.3, solving equations by multiplying or dividing. The objective for this lesson is to solve equations in one variable by multiplication or division. I don't know why that's not showing up. There we go. Solving an equation that contains multiplication or division is similar to solving an equation that we've done with addition or subtraction. How do we get rid of a problem that had addition in it? Why did we use subtraction? Why did we use subtraction now? Not just to balance it out. What's subtraction compared to addition? It's the opposite. It's the inverse operation. What's the inverse operation for multiplication? Division. And for division, multiplication. They're the opposite functions of one another. We're going to solve this equation. I have negative 8 equals j over 3. What does that over 3 really mean? Divide by 3. Most of the time in an algebra problem, this is how you're going to see division. So if I want to draw my wall, what side's my wall on? Or what side's my variable on? Right-hand side. What's happening to my variable? It's getting divided by 3, so I'm going to need to multiply by 3. And I usually just use the parentheses. And the other thing I'm going to do over here, what does this look like over here? Looks like 3 minus 8. I'm going to put parentheses around that too. J equals, what's 3 times negative 8? Negative 24. I'm going to check my work. Negative 24 divided by 3. I got negative 8. That's what I had originally. I know I'm correct. That is checking my work. Draw my wall. My variable's on the left. What's happening to my variable? It's getting divided by. So I'm going to put multiply by 6, multiply by 6. What's 6 divided by 6? What's 6 divided by 6? 1. So it really says 1n, which is just n. 2.8 times 6. To do it by hand, I'm just... Do I have to line up decimals with multiplying? No. 8 times 6 is 48. 6 times 2 plus 4 is 16. Where do I put my decimal point? Why do I put my decimal point in between the 6 and an 8? Because there's 1 behind the decimal in the first problem. My answer is 16.8. You can check your answer on the calculator. 16.8 divided by 6. I got 2.8. I know I'm correct. How about this one? I have 9y equals 108. Give this one a shot. All right, what side's my variable on? The variable's on the left-hand side. What operation is happening here? Multiplication. When the variable and the coefficient are connected, the number and the variable are connected. That means multiplication. What's the opposite of multiplication? Divide by 9, divide by 9. What's 9 divided by 9? Just y. I know I can grab the calculator. This is how I do math. A little bit too big. That's how many times does 9 go into 10? 1 time. Is there any left over? 1. So I'm going to take that 1 and I'm going to put it right here. How many times does 9 go into 18? 2. My answer is 12. 9 times 12, 108. How about this one? 0.5y equals negative 10. All right, on this problem, draw my wall. Where's the variable? On the left. What's happening? What operation? Multiplication. How do I get rid of multiplication? Divide by 5/10. Divide by 5/10. Now, I know I can grab a calculator, and it can do the math for me. But there's two ways. First way, I'm going to change this to a fraction. So this really says negative 10 divided by, what's 0.5 mean as a fraction? 1/2 or 5/10. Now, when I multiply when I divide fractions, what must I do? Can I divide a fraction? No. What do I need to do? Multiply by the, I know, turn upside down, multiply by the reciprocal, which is 2 over 1, which is just 2. What's negative 10 times 2? Negative 20 is your correct answer. Now, here's another way. This is the way I usually do it. I don't like having a decimal on the bottom. So I'm going to change this decimal to a whole number. How many decimal places did I have to change the bottom? 1. So I have to do the same thing to the top. And I fill it in with a 0. So it now says 100 over 5. 100 over 5 is 20. And that's how I do my work. I just move the decimals instead of rewriting it. What's different about this problem? Now we have a fraction. I have 5/6 times w equals negative 20. What do you want to do right off the bat? We want to divide by the 5/6, right? There's a slight problem. What happened on the last problem when I showed you the side work? Do I divide fractions? What do I do instead of dividing fractions? I could change it into a decimal, but that's going to add more work for me in this problem. Multiply it by the reciprocal. What's the reciprocal of 5/6? 6/5 here, 6/5 there. Just so you see, 5 divided by 5 is 1. 6 divided by 6 is 1. I'm just left with 1w. What does 20 mean as a fraction? It means 20 over 1. Can I do any simplifying? Look again. What can be simplified? The negative 20 and the 5. What goes into both? 5. 5 goes into 5 once. 5 goes into 24. What's negative 4 times 6? Negative 24. What's 1 times 1? 1. It's actually negative 24 over 1, which is just negative 24 is your answer. Now, I would especially check your answers on these problems. Take the calculator. How do I type this in? Use the parentheses. Type the fraction. And then just put times negative 24. Negative 20, I'm good. Not sure how picky the calculator will be if I do this. Yeah. What's different here? Oh, sorry. Helps if I type it correctly. Did it make a difference? No. The calculator knows that the negative means just attached to that number. It does not mean a minus. When we write it like this, it looks like a minus. But the calculator, if it's a negative sign, it thinks it's multiplication. Where's my variable? It's on the right-hand side. What's happening to my variable? It is multiplied by, it's being multiplied by 1/8. How do I get rid of a multiplied by 1/8? We don't divide by 1/8. We multiply by the reciprocal, which is 8. I'm going to multiply by 8 over 1, multiply by 8 over 1. 8's cancel out, 1's are 1's, z equals. Can I do any cross simplifying? 8 goes into 16 how many times? So once in the 8, twice. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 2 is 2. Just to check my work. 1/8 times 3 halves. I get that. Math, enter, enter. 3/16. My answers match up. Ciro puts 1/4 of the money he earns from mowing lawns into a college education fund. This year, Ciro added $285 to his college education fund. Write and solve an equation to find out how much money Ciro earned mowing lawns this year. So take a minute, write this example down.